What is up, my Roll Muffinators? As some of you may know, I recently beat Half-Life on stream. Now, to celebrate that long-running saga on my channel coming to a close, I've decided to make a video on the game. Now, you might be wondering what exactly I'm going to talk about in this video. Am I going to talk about Half-Life's wacky and weird weapons, like I said I would at the end of that stream? Or am I just going to give a general review of the game? Now, instead of these arguably better and generic ideas, I've decided to do a cybershell-esque bonus video on the game. This will generally cover content or trivia from the game that I find interesting, whether said content is scrapped or not. Now, a quick note, this video is just a general overview and not a complete deep dive into Half-Life's trivia and pre-release stuff. So if you do find what I cover interesting, feel free to do your own research at the cutting room floor, which is where I got most of the information for this video. Alright, now that I've got that out of the way, let's get this show on the road. Now, the first thing I want to cover are the various unused models for Half-Life. These are models for various things that go unused. The first group of these are unused enemies. These are enemies that were planned to appear in the game, but that never came to fruition. The first of these is called the Aflock, which looks like a headless pterodactyl covered in shit, or a manta ray as it's described in the cutting room floor. This critter has a counterpart named Boyd, who only appears during the game's ending. As for Aflock himself, he would go on to be used as a prop in Blue Shift. Now, I haven't played Blue Shift or any of the Half-Life expansions for that matter, so I cannot confirm this. But damn, being stuck as a prop must be sad. I would not wish that fate on my worst enemy, for sure. Next, we have the Archer, who would have served as an underwater enemy of sorts. All I really know is that he would have, like, shot at you. Also, he kind of looks a little bit like a chainsaw, so there's that. Okay, a paper just fell, so, yeah. That's gonna be the unscripted, thing that goes wrong in this video. So, yeah. Then we have the Chum Toad, who would have acted similar to the Snark, being both an enemy and a weapon usable by the player. They would go on to show up as Easter eggs in the expansions. Next up, we have the Flocking Floater, who would have been a Zen enemy. And now, we have the Kingpin. Unlike the Marvel character, this guy is a weird snake head crab demon thingy that would have appeared during Zen like the Floater. He may have also appeared in an area called the Topside Motor Pool, as shown in some concept art. I have no idea what the Topside Motor Pool is. Like, absolutely no idea. If there's some Half-Life lore master in the comments, feel free to tell me what that is. Now we have Half-Life's most infamous unused enemy, Mr. Friendly. Now, when I first heard of Mr. Friendly, I assumed this was, like, some character who was, like, very intrinsical to Half-Life's development. You know, an inside joke between developers. I thought this was maybe, like a smiley balloon from Gmod or something. That was, like, my first impression of what I thought this thing was. So, you know, turns out it looks like a head crab trying to get to second base. Now, it's probably the most complete unused enemy because it has two attacks. It has a whip attack and a vomit attack. And according to the book, Half-Life 2 Raising the Bar, it was meant to hump the player. And I kid you not. You might be asking, why was this made? Why would Valve do this? Why? Apparently, this was to piss off homophobic 14-year-old boys, the game's core audience, which was most of the game's core audience at the time. Sorry for the stutters, by the way. So, yeah. If you're, feel free at this moment to, like, pause the video and, like, maybe be like, Half-Life's gone woke! Or something like that. Say some stupid shit like that if you need to. If you're that kind of person. So, yeah. Moving on, we have the Snap Bug and the Sphere. Fun side note, the inside of the Sphere kind of resembles a Vortigaunt or an alien slave, as they're called in Half-Life 1. I'm not calling them an alien slave, dude. That's just a fucking stupid name. I'm calling them Vortigaunt. Okay, fight me. Also, no one really knows what the hell the Snap Bug does, by the way. So, yeah. He's by far the, enemy that made it the least into development. Now, lastly, for scrapped enemies, we have the Stuckabat, who would have appeared during Blast Pit, according to concept art, and also would have appeared somewhere during On a Rail, according to some E3 footage. Now, fun fact, this guy had paths he would fly around in Half-Life. However, because he's scrapped, these are basically useless and never appeared. So, yeah. A moment of silence for the Stuckabat. Doo, doo, doo. Alright, anyways. They're also... Now, next up, we have some unused models for human characters. You know, the player, the scientist, you know, those guys. The first of these, which appear in Half-Life 1, by the way, are earlier versions of the security guard and Gordon Freeman, with the beta security guard being a construction worker as opposed to a security officer, and the beta Gordon Freeman model having like a fucking beard and looking like your average Swedish person, your average Swedish Viking. I'll be referring to this guy as Ivan the Space Biker because he's just that cool. He's that kick-ass. He definitely would be a space biker. There are also in some pre-release builds, old models for the scientists and an even earlier model for the security guard. Now, real side tangent about these models, they're a lot more cartoony than the actual final models in Half-Life. They're like way more cartoony. Especially that super early security guard. That guy looks like a crackhead that you'd find at outside your local Walmart. All right, he looks ill. So yeah. Also, there's a military guy. This guy would have acted as an obstacle rather than an enemy. So yeah. Also, he had a chain gun and was smoking a cigar, which is pretty funny. Next up are the weapon models. These are, you know, view models for your weapons that you'd see when you'd use them in the game. So we have view models for the chum toad and a suppressed pistol. And the suppressed pistol. Alright, so anyone remember the Team Fortress Classic video? And in that video, I said that Spy's revolver resembles the silenced pistol from Half-Life. Well, it turns out that scrap model was entirely reused for this game. Also, Spy's revolver isn't actually a revolver. It's a fucking tranquilizer gun. And I'm not gonna call it a fucking tranquilizer gun, alright? If you say, come on man, be accurate, be game accurate, call it what it is, no. Alright? I'm not gonna call it that. Also, I was gonna call the scouts cow troops and nails. So yeah. Fun side tangent. Fun, weird, unrelated side tangent. Also, that's probably like the first time I've mentioned Team Fortress Classic this year. So yeah. Next up, time to talk about the next thing Time to talk about Half-Life's pre-release builds. Again, sorry for the stuttering. One of the more interesting builds is the September 1997 prototype of the game. This build was meant as a press demo of sorts. This build uses many of the scrap models for the security guard and scientists, with Ivan the Space Biker making his first appearance here. Unlike base Half-Life, the player cannot look directly up. This is due to it being built off the Quake engine, like I said in the Team Fortress Classic video. Text also appears in the top left-hand corner, as opposed to the lower left-hand corner, just like Quake. Maps also cannot support skyboxes, so everything's like pitch black. Now, fun fact here, the prototype maps themselves can actually be loaded into the final game with no problems. They can also be loaded into Quake. However, they will end up looking like they're covered in shit because most of the entities in Half-Life are not supported by base Quake itself. There's also another prototype called Uplink, and it's from around 2 months before the game's release. It has like the same upward spacing problem as the September 1997 demo, but it's pretty similar to the final game, with a few differences here and there. Now, you might be wondering, surely that can't be it. Surely there are more prototypes. And on the cutting room floor, there's like a Half-Life demo, but that was made after the game's release, so I'm not going to cover it here. And I assume it was just a demo for the game, your standard demo. Now, covering pre-release games, there were at some point. Now, alright, time for another Muffin Lord history lesson. So apparently, at some point in the game's in Half-Life's development, Valve's source safe exploded, and they lost most of their data. Luckily, builds from the last month of the game's development were salvaged, and I assume so that all that really remains of beta Half-Life are the September 1997 build, some E3 1998 footage, as well as some screenshots from a French gaming magazine. Alright, now originally I was just gonna go straight to talking about the game's concept art, but I forgot some stuff in the script, so I'm gonna bring this up. Fun fact. For some reason, in the September 1997 build, there is a robot from an anime called Super Dimensions Fortress Macross, known as Robotech in the States. The robot's name is Regal Battlepod, and I've never seen this fucking anime at all. This is the first time I've heard about it. And apparently, he will do a little dance if you shoot him. Apparently, this was to test how many, polygons Valve's source and how many polygons the Gold SRC engine can handle, apparently. Or something like that. I'm not a tech dude. Again, Half-Life lore veterans, feel free to inform me on what that actually does, because stupid idiot kid is making this. Now, anyways, time to talk about the game's concept art. Now, well, the art itself is your run-of-the-mill concept art, It's just, some stuff, beta designs for characters and stuff, standard. All the standard. What I find interesting about it is the guy who made it. Now, this art was made by Chuck Jones, and doing a quick Google search shows that he directed things like Duck Amuck, What's Opera Doc, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And it wasn't just Half-Life that he designed characters for, but Counter-Strike, Team Fortress Classic, and Duke Nukem 3D. This guy is insane. Apparently, he also designed characters for Team Fortress 2. I doubt this is the case. I extremely doubt this, but I saw it on the internet, so I feel like I should put it out there. Again, if this is wrong, feel free to inform me in the comments, and yeah. So, unfortunately, he would pass away on February 2nd, 2002. May his soul rest in peace. A moment of silence. Anyways, that about wraps up the pre-release bulk of this video. Now it's time to get into some wacky in-game trivia. For instance, in the Nihilanth boss fight, it is possible to attack it with the crowbar. However, you can only get it to about 1 HP before you need to use another weapon to deal the final blow. You can also do a rocket jump-esque move with the Tau Cannon by charging it up. I do believe you can also do this with the grenade and rocket launcher themselves, but I find Tau Cannon jumping a lot funner. So, yeah. Another weird thing about Half-Life's final build is its B-hop count. If you get enough speed while B-hopping, the game will just forcibly slow you down. So, yeah. Now, another final thing I want to mention is the Dreamcast port for this game. That's right, Half-Life was originally going to have a port for the Dreamcast. This port would have given us the HD models that we see in the game today, as well as Blue Shift. That's right, Half-Life Blue Shift, the expansion pack, was originally going to be exclusive to the Dreamcast. Now you might be thinking, but this is the best port ever. Why was it canned? Why was it canceled? Now apparently this build was canceled due to Sega stopping production of the Dreamcast and their departure from the console industry. And you might be thinking, and apparently it was just a few months away from being completed. This thing was ready to be released, and it never got released. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Well, even if this game, you might be thinking this game is awesome. Why did Sega just leaving the console industry stop them? Well, this game, there is footage of it. There's a whole video on this port. Unfortunately, most of the builds suffer from atrocious load times and slowdown. Not to mention the game's bad lighting. Like, seriously, it looks like OBS when there's not any footage. It looks like OBS when there's not any footage. It's just a black screen. It just looks like a black screen at some points. But it does use the HD models, so I guess that's a plus. Anyways, I honestly doubt that if this game even released, it would have done well. Or been praised. Like, seriously. I don't know. Maybe there's maybe I just summoned the Half-Life Dreamcast port defense force, and they're here to, completely kick my shit in. Anyways, that about wraps up the Half-Life bonus video. So yeah, anyways, I'll probably be back with another bonus video once I finish Half-Life 2 or the expansion packs. So yeah, or who knows, maybe I'll finally do the TF2, maybe I'll do a TF2 bonus video, or just cover the comics, or just cover the comics. I don't know, anything could happen. Anyways, yeah. In conclusion, check out the cutting room floor. Half-Life's got some fun stuff. Bring back my boy Ivan the Space Biker, and yeah, like and subscribe. It'll be funny, and goodbye.